the lead, Masashi Maru with 10 straight wins, Kaiho with 8 wins and 2 losses. Just behind him, and also level with Kaiho, is Takanowaka with 8 wins and 2 losses. We have Tochiazuma and Musoyama with 7 wins and 3 losses. All potentially able to come through and win, but it seems to be turning into a battle between Masashi Maru and Kaiho. Let's go to the first bout of our first bout of day 11 between Hamanishiki and Oikari. Well, these wrestlers wear different coloured belts. It's their choice with the belts. It's not like some of the other martial arts where the belts signify rank. They don't signify rank. It's they can have any colour they want within reason. Now that was an email query I had. So that was Oikari's win there, 5th win and 6th loss for Hamanishiki, who seemed to be suffering from that thigh injury he got earlier in the basho. Now we have Daizen here, 157 kilos, just slightly over average weight for these guys, fights Shimotori, just a little bit lighter. Shimotori in his first basho tried to defy gravity and hang in on the edge of that the ring there, but Daizen thrust to his chest. Eventually he toppled over backwards. So oshidashi win there by local Ricochet Daizen. Now Tamanoshima, he started off very badly. By day 7 he'd had 5 losses and only 1 win. Then from then on he started to pick up and get a streak of wins. He's now got 5 wins, not doing too badly. Takanowaka on the other hand doing extremely well with 8 wins, despite the fact that he broke some ribs in the previous basho, the Hatsu basho. Well, Tamanoshima seemed to be thinking about doing something with his arm there, but Takanowaka seized the opportunity and ran him out over the edge with yorikiri. Now Miyabiyama, whose name means elegant mountain, fights Kaiho, who's named after his father's fishing boat. Apparently, means his name means sea phoenix. So his father's boat would have been called Kaiho Maru, because most boats have that Maru bit tagged on the end. Well, it's chief judge there objecting to the start. Bit of a head-banging start there. Kaiho staying in tight, trying to sidestep Miyabiyama there. Some slaps, direct frontal assault, and then he moves off to the side. There's a nice little side move there, but Miyabiyama staying with him, driving him to the edge. Kaiho unable to escape. Miyabiyama getting stronger day by day, despite his 3 basho absence. And no prize money for him. Prize money comes in set amounts. It's 60,000 yen in the envelope. If there's more money, it's always in 60,000 yen amount, so people or companies can, as it were, put the money in the envelope. Whoever wins takes the money. Sometimes at a really top bout, there can be a pile of envelopes for the winning wrestler at the end. So Kaiho eventually going out there after a longish by sumo standards bout. Now Dejima fights Tochisakae, who's one of the who previously had a different sumo name. It's what is known as a shikona. He was Tochi no Iwa. Sometimes they change a name just to bring change of luck. The Dejima there coming out like a rocket, and he overextended himself. We've seen that before. Pushed too hard, stretched out too much. Hands moved away from his base, and down he went with makiotoshi. So 4th win for Tochisakae and 8th loss, and makiotoshi for Dejima. Not doing at all well. Aminishiki got 7 wins already. If he wins this one, that will give him Kachikoshi. Here fighting Takamisakari. He's an ex-amateur champion from the great amateur stable of Nichidai. Well, Hamanishiki gets that one. Some doubt there shown on the wrestler's face, but it's fairly clear that it was Takamisakari who stepped out. And there's some money for Hamanishiki and Kachikoshi. So Maegashira 6, that means he'll go up the ranks a wee bit. At least at this stage of the tournament. Still a few more days left to up his score. Now Tochinonada, whose big rival is Dejima. They create these rivalries amongst the sumo, although quite often events overtake them. One wrestler gets a lot stronger, and in fact there is no real rivalry there. So both wrestlers locking in tight, neither really looking for the belt. It's pushes to the head, and there's a sidestep and a slip. Tamakasuga goes flying as Tochinonada just slides his chest out the way. So a thrust drop win there for Tochinonada, and his 5th win in this basho so far, and 5th loss for Tamakasuga. Now we have Mongolian Kyokutenho, who's meant to be quite a mild character. Fights Akinoshima. These two have fought 9 times previously. Kyokutenho's won 6 of them, and including the last 5 times he beat Akinoshima. Akinoshima in the past nearly always used to lose to Kotonishiki, now retired, and he also loses a lot to Kaiho, so he creates these series of losses against certain fighters as a mental block about beating them. So let's see if Kyokutenho can extend his winning run against Akinoshima. Looks for a second there as if he would. Yes, he does it. So Kyokutenho now gets 6 consecutive wins over Akinoshima. And that was Kyokutenho's 4th win for this basho. Otsukasa from Nichidai fights Tosanoumi. Both ex-amateur champions, of which there are quite a number now in pro sumo. In many ways it's hardly worth mentioning. There was a time when there was just a few of them, but now it's a pretty common route to come into sumo through the amateur ranks and then into pro sumo. In fact, there's now talk of the winner of the open division in the World Amateur Sumo Championships being allowed to come into pro sumo, into the Makushita division, straight into the Makushita division. That's a new development. Now, Kotonowaka fights Takanonami. Takanonami, tall. He's got rather damaged ankles, but he's got some very nice techniques. There's one he uses very an awful lot. There's that arm locking move known as kime, and but there didn't do him much good. He got spun over with makiotoshi by Kotonowaka. 4th win for Kotonowaka. He's got 7 losses, 1 more loss, and he'll be makikoshi, but not too many problems from him at Maegashira 2 West. Now, Wakanosato fights Kyokushuzan, who's Kyokushuzan's stable master. His oyakata calls him Arashi Storm, but he's being very far from stormy in this basho. Something's ailing him, turning in a very bad performance. Only got 1 win so far. Well, that was a little bit lively to start with, but can he keep it up? Wakanosato settles in. He's a very powerful wrestler, but Kyokushuzan not putting up much of a fight there. Gets hustled out with the yorikiri. 10th loss for Kyokushuzan. 10th loss for the Storm. of Chiyotakai against Kotomitsuki. These two have fought 5 times. Chiyotakai's won 4 of them. Kotomitsuki, otherwise known as Data Man, got a very detailed knowledge of what his opponents do, what techniques they do. Well, that was a little bit of a slip there. Slammed in, bounced off. As he bounced off, his legs split wide and he skidded on the surface. You can see he's sweating a lot there. Kotomitsuki's got this reputation of over-warming up. He spends a lot of time warming up, comes out, sometimes comes out, and even looks quite tired. So he's running with sweat there, because obviously been training hard, or warming up hard, in the preparation room down below. So that was Chiyotakai's 7th win and 5th loss for Kotomitsuki. Next out is Tochiazuma and Toki. That's Masashi Maru. He's going to be fighting Asa Shoryu shortly. Tochiazuma, 144 kilos. His weight hasn't changed very much. Fighting Toki, who's about 30 kilos heavier at 177. Toki doing quite well, 6 wins so far, just 1 step behind Tochiazuma with 7 wins. So typical Toki, just comes out, uses his long arms, doing a little bit more slapping now. In fact, it's my impression that sumo is getting rougher, and it might be the influence of Asa Shoryu, who's shown many of them the way, go for the face and really go for it hard. And he's been winning with that tactic, and now some of the others seem to be copying it a bit, although I predict the hierarchy will clamp down on that, since they don't want sumo to turn into a boxing match. So Tochiazuma wins that one. That's his 8th win and kachikoshi. So hikiotoshi is the name of the technique he won with, a pull drop throw. Now Musoyama fights Kaiho. 2 Ozekis here fighting each other, weight for weight, both about 170 kilos. Certain amount of weight monitoring goes on for wrestlers over 170 kilos, which is not to say they're forbidden to go over, but they're checked out, as it were. The Sumo Association, the Sumo Kyokai, wants to know why they're 170 kilos or more. I think there was a thought that some of the wrestlers were getting too heavy and not training hard enough and not using enough techniques. But certainly there's no weight limit in sumo. You can be as heavy as you like. So Musoyama there looked as though he had Kaiho on the run. Kaiho just shrugged his arm over his head. Very neat move there with his shoulder. That was enough to send Musoyama skidding past. The tsukiotoshi win there. Kaiho's 9th win. There's an email query from Annette Barreto, wants to know if who the great all-time who the Wolf was, who was nicknamed the Wolf. Well, that was of course Chiyono Fuji, who's now the Kokonoe Oyakata. That's how he's known, the Kokonoe Oyakata. And he wasn't the best of all time. That goes to a man called Taiho, who was champion in the 60s, who won 32 bashos. Nobody's ever rivaled that. Now we have Masashi Maru. It's the concluding bout of day 11. Fights Asa Shoryu. Well, there's a tremendous difference. There's almost 100 kilos difference between these two. Phenomenal amount. That's 100 kilos. That's a big man's weight by normal standards. Now Asa Shoryu will come out like a rocket. We know that. We saw in the previous basho how he dispatched Masashi Maru. He got hold of his leg and lifted the big man up. Can you imagine? A wrestler, 130 kilos of Asa Shoryu lifted up 223 kilos of Masashi Maru and walked him out. Well, let's see what the Mongolian is going to do there. Comes out hard and fast, tries the slaps, ducking around, and he pulls him down. And that's a win there for the Mongolian. Asa Shoryu upsets the big man, who takes his first loss in this tournament. The crowd going wild here, chucking their cushions up in the air. That's the way to fight the big man. You just got to come out hard and fast and move. and outspeed him and don't give him a target that he can lock onto. You can see the crowd really going wild there, chucking stuff in the ring. Although this throwing stuff into the ring is an old habit in Japanese sumo, goes way back. And they used to throw just about anything in the ring. Quite often it would take some time after a bout to clear it. Well, look at that. Beautiful technique. So at the end of day 11, Masashi Maru's taken one loss, but he's still in the lead. He's got 10-1, one loss. Kaiho's behind him with 9 wins and 2 losses. Also Takanowaka, 9 wins and 2 losses. And we have Tochiazuma and Hamanishiki with 8 wins and 3 losses each. Stay with us, we'll be back very shortly after the break for day 12.